Ladies and gentlemen, today we're diving into the musical journey of a talented artist whose soulful tunes have captured the hearts of many, and I mean many. Join me as I explore the life and career of Jonathan David Buck, better known as Jon B.
Hey, you should know me. You're my angel. Nothing's gonna make you fall from heaven. Girl, I just wanna love you. Don't listen to what people.
Now, Jon B was born on November 11th, 1974, making him a Scorpio, in Providence, Rhode Island. Jon B grew up in the vibrant city of Altadena, California. Okay, so he moved to Cali. Okay, I see you. Now, music ran deep in his family. His father, David, was a music professor, his mother, Linda, a concert pianist, his sister, Deborah, a violinist, and his brother, Kevin, a cellist. A rich musical upbringing indeed. Now, in 1992, Jon B was shopping demos when he caught the attention of Tracy Edmonds, then president and CEO of Yab Yum Records. Before his rise to fame, Buck pursued a songwriting career and wrote songs for After 7, Michael Jackson, Toni Braxton, Color Me Badd, and the Spice Girls, amongst a whole bunch of others that he'd written songs for. Now, Jon B's popularity began in the mid-1990s after he released his debut studio album in 1995 titled Bonafide, which spawned the popular hit and Grammy-nominated single Someone to Love, which featured Babyface. Now, this album was a commercial success, selling over 1 million copies and being certified platinum. So your boy was on his way. He was already creating that buzz. People was already starting to know who Jon B is and was. And so he released his second studio album, Cool Relax, in 1997. The album spawned the top 10 single, They Don't Know. That was my jam. And 2 other top 20 hits, including Are You Still Down, featuring Tupac. That was my other jam. I literally played that song the other day. When I tell you, Are You Still Down? It's still down. Like, it still is a thumper. I love that song. Now, not only did Jon B write for the artists that I mentioned previously, but he also wrote Brownstone hit 5 Miles to Empty in 1997. So he was already just, getting his foot in the game. Now, while on tour promoting Cool Relax, he formed a group with 2 of his backup singers, Dominican and Silky Deluxe, collectively named Jack Herrera. Now, a full album titled Retro Futuristo was put together but never officially released. So he was really putting groups together, forming his own groups with people, and he was doing his thing. Now, Jon B went on a hiatus after he, had such a prominent time in his career. And so he did end up going viral back in 2019 when he went under fire on Twitter over Beyonce comments after his old interview resurfaces. Now, mind you, he did this interview back in the 90s. But somehow, Twitter is literally the king of pulling up people's passes and what they said and previous interviews, things that pretty much was swept under the rug back in the heyday. Because like I said, back when Jon B was on top of his game, we didn't have all of this social media stuff. So things that he was saying, if you didn't catch it, you didn't catch it. If you didn't buy the magazine, you didn't read it. It was that type of ordeal. Even though we still had internet, but it was just a whole different ballpark back then. And so Twitter did their due diligence by going in to pull up an old interview that Jon B, pretty much expressed his like for Beyonce. And people today was not feeling that. They was oh no, this is not cool. And so cancer culture came for Jon B literally right away. Now, Jon B has become a target of cancel culture back in 2019 after an interview clip resurfaced to him speaking about touring with Destiny's Child at the beginning of their career. So Destiny's Child was still new on the scene. Everybody didn't know who they were. And plus, Beyonce's name didn't hold as much weight as it holds today. Even though Beyonce has always been the one to shine in Destiny's Child. But back in those days, Beyonce didn't have the same clout that she has today. And we didn't have the Beehive. And we didn't have cancel culture at that time. And it wasn't this whole feminist thing going on where you protecting and all of that. We didn't have all of that back then. Now, this is what Jon B said.
You know, we're all label mates, and we're all going to the radio stations to promote our records together, all, you know, as just like a unit. And I love that, because we don't do that anymore. And I mean, if you think about it, with Beyonce in the beginning of her career, so I was looking at little 16, 17-year-old Beyonce, just like, you know, like, I'm sorry, but because I'm a grown man at the time, it's kind of wrong, but you know, you already know.
And so he went on to say, Beyonce telling me to kill it, that'd be huge now. If I can open up for Beyonce now, switch it around, it's definitely something fun to look back at, end quote. Now, that's what Jon went on to say. So he pretty much was just like talking about his experience about working with Beyonce, but he was also, you know, hinting that Beyonce was attractive to him. He was looking at her in a different way. And like I said, back in those days, we didn't have all of these movements today that protect the women. And so back then, it was more so he thought it was like, yeah, she's young, but, you know, whatever. But Twitter didn't like that. Twitter went in to drag Jon B back in this time. And so, like I said, everybody protects Beyonce as they should. Okay, Beyonce, you is a queen and you're gorgeous. I love you. I love your music. And so things are different now. So for people to hear him say that, it was more like, yeah, no, Jon, sit this one out. Although I do think that Jon B did mean well. I think it was just more so like him saying, like, Beyonce has always been a beautiful girl and a beautiful woman, but seeing her now is like, wow, mind-boggling. Because I have to admit, Beyonce have really rose to the occasion. She really has rised to the top. Beyonce is really like that girl. She's holding that spot. No one has came to knock her off her throne, and I don't foresee that happening. Not too soon. So, I mean, I get it. It's like Jon was still like starstruck, because it's like, look at Beyonce now. And like, I actually got to work with her when she was coming up. And so now it's like, hey, can we work together again? Maybe that'll help jumpstart and put me back on the map as Jon B. You know, I get it. But at the same time, like, he probably should have left that part out about him looking at her in that way. He should have just more so been like, hey, yeah, I got to work with Beyonce back in the day. She was cool. And seeing her now, like, the girl is it. Okay. So like I said, you know, this comes down to like the whole being in the industry. You gotta know how to talk. You gotta know how to word things. And although he was being very real, the industry don't like real. So by him stating that, people just was like, yeah, no, you should have just sat that out. You should have just sat there and ate your food. And Twitter didn't make it no better. Okay. So people was dragging him. I do have some of the tweets that I can show of what people said. And then people were saying that he was creepy and he was zesty and he shouldn't have said anything. And like I said, people was not too fond of this. What do you guys think? Do you think he was dragging it, or do you think it was just more like an innocent thing? But that's what he ended up going viral for back in 2019. And so I am aware that today Jon B is still touring some parts of California. I do see that he is going to be hitting up Napa. So he is still, you know, going through and performing his hits and still keeping his brand alive. So he is still on tour. Okay, hey. But as far as him releasing music, I'm not too sure of that. Let me know if y'all run across some of his new music, or is he still performing like the older songs, which I more so think he is, or maybe he's doing a combination of both. But I will say, Jon B's musical versatility and enduring passion for soulful music, from a musically enriched upbringing to a career filled with chart-topping hits and creative ventures, Jon B has left an indelible mark on the music industry. If you enjoyed this musical expedition into Jon B's life and career, do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more captivating stories of artists who shaped the world of music. Share your thoughts and suggestions in the comment below, and stay tuned for my next deep dive into the lives of extraordinary artists. Thanks for joining me today, and I will catch you on the next one for Controversy. And I'm keeping it live, keeping it lit, and we going into the next chapter. I'll see y'all in the next one.